Welcome to Abby Debbie TV.
I said I was gonna try not to cry so much. Hey YouTube. I know it's been a while and I am going to be back with a video on where I've been, what I've been up to, why I currently wear these train tracks. And I like my train tracks, it grew on me. But I will be back with a video about all of that. Today, I just had this on my heart to make this impromptu video. Because today is November 21st, 2020, and it is my daughter's 8th birthday. And many people know that I had a baby 8 years ago and she passed away. But a lot of people don't know what all happened and why honestly, there's no real reason for anybody to question why I'm still in a lot of pain about it. But I just figured today would be the day that I would expel some of that pain. So 8 years ago, I was very much in love with my college boyfriend, and we got pregnant at the top of the year. And I lost that baby on Valentine's Day. I miscarried because I just moved into a new apartment, and I've been lifting things and moving about and, just living my 23-year-old life. And at the time I was 22, but yeah, I didn't know I was pregnant, so that happened. And then we continued about our year, and I graduated college that summer, and we found out that we were pregnant again. And by this time, we were 3 or 4 months in, and we started beefing, and we decided that we were going to break up and just separate for a little bit, because we were beefing a lot about having a baby and him still being in school and a lot of other stuff, which is another video altogether. I'm still trying to decide if I want to reveal that much of part of my life, but yeah. So I kept my pregnancy a secret from everybody except my immediate family at first, because I had miscarried earlier in the year and I was still scared. So I didn't really tell anybody. But when I did tell people, my mom was over the moon, and my dad was oh my God. And my brother's my brother. So my sisters were happy. Everybody was pretty much happy. And I didn't pick a name. I didn't do a lot of stuff because I was just I'm just gonna hold off until I know for sure, and cool. So my baby's growing healthy and strong and beautiful, and I go to my doctor's appointments. I have no complications. I have no high risk factors or anything like that. So everything's fine. And come November, everything started. If you've ever been pregnant, or you have pregnant friends, wife, whatever, as you get closer to your due date. My due date was December 15th. As you get closer to your due date, you have to start going for weekly appointments. So I started going for weekly appointments. Now, one week, a week before her passing, I called my mom in the middle of the night pretty much, and I was like, Mom, the baby's not moving, or she slowed down. She was a very active infant in there. She was always turned for whatever reason. I was just this little girl crazy as hell. But I called my mom and I was like, Mom, the baby's not moving as much as she normally is. And she's like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to eat some chocolate and I'm going to drink some orange juice. And then if I can't get her to get crazy, do a toe wop for me real quick. Yeah, I ain't on that. I'm going to go to the hospital. So I did all those things and she still wasn't moving. So I went to the hospital. My mom met me at the hospital, and they kept me. They gave me some stuff to just monitor her heart rate, her heart was beating fine. She flipped over, they said everything was okay, but they still wanted to keep me because my stomach was rather large. So we stayed overnight, and my mom, I'm gonna put a picture of her sleep in the chair. I just thought it was like so awesome that I don't take my mom for granted at all, because I know that some of my friends have lost their parents, and I don't know what I would do without this woman. But my mom stayed with me the whole night, and then we went home the next day, and that was that. So the following weekend after all of that was my baby shower, and shout out to, I'm gonna tag her, Kim, at Farrah Roof Productions. She worked with me on my baby shower at the last minute. When I say the last minute, like, I think I called her like 2 weeks out from my baby shower, like, I need your help, please. And she was like, I'm there. So she I'm gonna put some pictures over here, over here somewhere, and just so you can see like how amazing it was. And I had so much friends and family and love come out, to celebrate me and my daughter, and I was excited. I was really excited. So my baby shower, my baby shower was on November 17th, and everything was great. My sister came up from Virginia and hosted, and my friends flew in from Chicago to come and celebrate with us, and it was a really good day. I mean, it was such a good day. That was on a Saturday. Sunday, I got up with my family, and I remember like it was yesterday. I got up with my family, and we watched music videos on MTV, and we ate breakfast, and I left them and went and had breakfast with my friend who was visiting from Chicago. Had breakfast, brunch, whatever, and I just chilled. Like, it was a good day. And I had so much love and gifts shown towards me that I was just like, let me just put it all in the corner, because I'm gonna deal with that tomorrow. And then tomorrow came, and it was Monday morning. And I went to my weekly stress test appointment, and when I got there, I usually talk to my doctor first, but I ended up going to see the ultrasound technician first because my doctor wasn't available. He wasn't ready. He was still dealing with another patient. So I saw my ultrasound technician, and we're just chopping it up, and I'm telling her how big the baby's gotten and etc. And so she goes to take my ultrasound, and she pauses for too long, and like that awkward pause where something's wrong. She paused for too long, and I was just like, what's wrong? And she was like, nothing, just looking around. And then eventually she told me that she couldn't find my baby's heartbeat. And I was just like, no, that's impossible, because she was just kicking up a storm yesterday, and I just felt her this morning before I got here. And she was like, okay, all right, so we'll keep looking. So she searched around for maybe like 5 minutes. It felt like forever, but she searched around, and she came back. She said again she couldn't find the baby's heartbeat. So I immediately got so mad at her, and it wasn't even her fault. I immediately got mad at her, and it wasn't even her fault. And I told her that she wasn't a doctor, and she needed to go find my doctor. This is a lady who's been taking my ultrasounds since the beginning of my pregnancy, and I just blacked out on her like, you don't know what you're talking about. Go find my doctor. So she left out to go find my doctor, and they came back in, and she took the ultrasound again, and my doctor told me, Ebony, we can't find a heartbeat. And y'all, I don't know what happened between that point and however amount of time had lapsed, because when I got back with myself, I'm not sure what happened between that point of when the doctor came in to the point that I like came back and realized that my mom was there and my daughter's father was there. And I have no idea who called, how they got there, when they got there. I'm not sure when any of that happened. I just know that I realized at some point that my daughter's father was there, my mom was there, and my brother came later, if I'm not mistaken. I can't even remember when my brother got there, but I remember my brother was there. But it was just crazy because I was like, when the hell did y'all get here? Like, it's like I put my head down on a desk. I vaguely remember sitting in a wheelchair, but I know I got in a wheelchair and then they took me somewhere, but I don't know. I put my head down on a desk. Where the desk came from, not even sure. But when I picked my head up, my daughter's father was there and my mom was there. And my mom was telling me that everything was going to be okay. And I just, like, back then when you're 20, at that time I was 23, I was just like, how is it going to be okay? You know, like, these people are telling me that my baby doesn't have a heartbeat, and I don't fully comprehend what that means, you know? I'm like, so it's a heart missing? Like, you know, she's had a heartbeat this entire time. Where does that go? So I remember talking to some more doctors and them telling me that they could give me some medication to pre-start my labor, and then they would send me home to have my labor start, and then I could come back and have the baby. And I was just like, wait, so I still have to have the baby? Like, I still have to go through that? And they were like, yeah, because I was full term. I was 8 months at this point. I had 1 more month to go. So my options were to go home and let my labor start with the medication that they gave me, or stay in the hospital, and this is November 19th, on a Monday, stay in the hospital, and they would induce me and push my labor forward, so get it going so that I could give birth while I was at the hospital. I opted to stay at the hospital because I felt like, who wants to go home and experience all of this and pain and all of that by themselves? So I opted to stay in the hospital. So they induced me, and I stayed overnight, slept there, watched movies with my daughter's father, who kicked it with me the entire time. My mom left for all of 20 minutes in 3 days. She went home maybe to shower, I think, once. Sorry, Mom. But she was pretty much there. And I know my sister came to visit me, and my brother came, and that was that. So on Wednesday, my labor started. I remember on Wednesday morning, the pain had started kicking in. What they gave me, I think, was called Pitocin. And it started my labor. Go through labor just like any other mother. And it sucked. It sucked so bad because I tried really hard to not be on any additional medication. But that pain was just like astronomical. Says my water had to be physically broke by my doctor, and that was that. I took as much pain as I possibly could until I had an epidural. And after I had that epidural, I'm not sure how many people opt for the epidural. I know a lot of people are going natural birth nowadays, but that junk made me itch. Like, my skin felt like flubber. I was scratching like a crackhead. And I was just like, I could have did this without these extra drugs. Like, this is stupid. You know, like, I'm sitting here about to have a baby, but I'm scratching like I need a fix or something. Neither here nor there. But I got that epidural, and my daughter's father and I, like, continued to sit there and console each other in secret. Like, we were sitting there texting each other, and we were sitting right next to each other, you know, just trying to deal with everything. We had the best relationship up until the point of the breaking point in the summer of us being pregnant together. And I would never down talk him or say like 1,000,001 bad things. Our relationship was not perfect. There were a lot of things that I wish I could change about it, and a lot of things that I wish I had known from the beginning. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, he has always had my back. Like, even when I've cussed him out, talked dirt about his family, told him to go to hell and burn with like gasoline drawers on, like, he has always had my back. And I uninvited him and his entire family to the baby shower, but his stepmom still showed up on behalf of the family and was just like, I'm not taking no for an answer. Like, this is still my grandbaby. And I thought that was pretty dope. So we were sitting in the hospital just kicking it, talking to each other, trying to console each other and figure out where do we go from here, because this is about to suck. And little did we both know how much it was gonna suck. Didn't really give that too much thought. So at 8:10 on November 21st, 2012, I pushed for the third time and my daughter came out. And when I tell you, the most awkward silence fell over the room. It was so quiet. You could hear a feather drop, It was so quiet. And it's because my daughter's umbilical cord had wrapped around her neck 2 times. So she died because she suffocated or she was strangled in my belly. And the doctors, they asked me if I wanted to hold her or if I wanted them to take her away. So I asked to hold her, and I held her for 3 hours. I held her for close to 3 hours because I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to let go. And my daughter's father and I, we sat there and we prayed and we talked over her and we spoke life on ourselves in the situation, and we dealt. So after they took her away, I can't go home. So they took me to the maternity ward floor where I had to stay for the next couple of days as I recovered with other mothers who had just given birth, so I could hear all of their babies and I could hear all of them with the emotional support of their families. I could hear all the babies and all the other mothers on our floor just going through, the norm of giving birth. And I noticed on the outside of my door there was like this purple little ribbon, which I later found out signified that it was a room where the mother lost her baby. So that let the nurses and the doctors and everybody else know not to come in and ask, where's the baby or how's the baby doing. When I tell y'all, it's heartbreaking to lose a kid, it's heartbreaking to lose anybody. But imagine carrying a life for 9 months. Imagine feeling kicks and hearing heartbeats and expectations of what life is gonna be like. Imagine having all your friends and family come out and show you love and buy you these beautiful things for a person that they haven't even met yet. Imagine going through a really bad time with your significant other, with your partner, and you just think that this is like the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, babies are not supposed to be used to make your relationships better or make people stay with you, and that's not what she was. But after going through everything that I had gone through that year, with my miscarriage, with breaking up with my boyfriend, it was just like, okay, cool, like all of this has happened, but me and my daughter, we gonna rock out. And then she died. She died. And I always felt like it was my fault, because the one thing that I'm supposed to do for her was protect her on the inside, and I couldn't even do it. So all of this happened the week of Thanksgiving, and I spent Thanksgiving in the hospital. I spent a good amount of time away from my family and friends, and when I got out of the hospital, I had to go home to all of my baby shower stuff. I had to go home to all of my baby shower stuff that was left in my house, because my baby shower had just been a few days before this. And then obviously, you know, when someone passes, you have to bury them. So I began planning my daughter's funeral, because the hospital gave me an option. It was like, you can take her and, you know, do as you will or do as you plan, or we can bury her for you at no cost to you. And I was like, okay, well, where do you bury kids? And they said on Hart Island. And if you know, Hart Island is a place in New York where they bury people who don't have families, or they can't identify them, or they can't afford to go anywhere else. So it's kind of like an island for the unknown. And I was like, the hell, you will not bury my child on an island where I can't go visit her. To hell with you telling me that you will bury my child on an island where I can't go visit her or do anything for her or put flowers on her grave. So I said I would take my child with me. When I found out that I was pregnant with Sinai, I started a bank account for her, because I didn't know what to expect as a new mom. So I thought, hey, let me put, you know, a little money here and there to the side to be able to buy her the things that I need. So all the money that I put to the side to start for her, I had to use it on her funeral. And I was due on December 15th. My dad's birthday is December 14th. And I ended up burying my baby on my dad's birthday, a day before her due date. And it killed my everything. It really hurt. And it still hurts to this day. So that's my story. I just wanted to share that with y'all, so you get an understanding of why every year I do March of Dimes, or why every year I might have one of these emotional, irrational breakdowns, because I miss my child, you know? I never got to hear her first words. I never got to hear her breathe. I never got to hear her breathe. I buried my child and she never opened her eyes. And that really does hurt. And fast forward to 2020, and I have this amazing 1-year-old who could never replace my daughter. They're not intended to replace each other. They're not intended to compete with each other. But I have this amazing 1-year-old who I love dearly, who is my pride and joy, who keeps me on my toes, who teaches me things about myself that I didn't even know. But sometimes, you just can't help but wonder, what if she was here? What would my 8-year-old do? What would my 8-year-old be to my 1-year-old? What would my 8-year-old have taught me back then that I didn't know? So that's my story. And I hope that in the coming years that I continue to grow and prosper and become a better woman because of it. And I pray that any other woman who has dealt with infant loss or miscarriages or stillbirth knows that it is never your fault. It is not your fault. And it does take a very long time. I will not lie, because it's been 8 years. It does take a very long time, but time does heal wounds. I cried today, not because I'm in pain of losing my child, or not because I don't know how to deal with the pain, but I cry because sometimes it sucks or it hurts to wonder. And I wonder way too much. Way too much. But sometimes I just wonder where she would be,